Hello. No. Remember, you're Samoan. No, you're not Samoan.
Hey, Manny. Sorry, Mannfred. Sapus.
Greetings, friend.
What do you mean, friend?
We aren't in the hood anymore, To'e. We have to act in the white way to make sure we don't draw attention to ourselves. Look, have a look at these people. They're clued up and onto it. They read the paper and watch Police 10-7. They'll know all about us islanders. You know the ones who are filling up our hospitals and prisons, collecting the benefit every Thursday down our winds. The islanders who always live in overcrowded houses. Come on. Sometimes 9 or 10 people in a 3-bedroom stay house.
Overcrowded with what? When you see an overcrowded house, I see love, I see ainga or family. I see a community of people who rely on and support one another. When you see a problem, I see an opportunity, a blessing, and a gift. In some societies, the elderly are seen as an inconvenience. They have lived their useful life, and it's now time for them to get out of the way. Just look at how many retirement homes are springing up all over the country. However, in my home, we treasure the knowledge, the love, and the gifts that my grandfather brings into my home. I didn't have to go to after-school programs. There was no foreign nanny to look after me or be enrolled into a holiday program. I had love in my own home in the form of my grandfather and other whānau that took care of me while my parents worked. In Aotearoa, we say it takes a village to raise a child. But for many, the focus is on isolating yourself from the village. In my home, the village is all under one roof, and I would not have it any other way. Overcrowded? Yes. Overcrowded with love, with lessons, with mana, with manakitanga. That sort of overcrowding doesn't sound too bad to me.
I get your point. People sometimes don't see the issues that we are faced with from the same perspective. So I guess that's a pretty good lesson for us islanders from the book of To'e. But I guess I'm getting used to being told what to think of myself. You know, the measure of success from the mainstream culture camp makes me think less of myself. But I've always thought of myself as a bit dumb. Well, I mean, that is the impression that teachers have given me when my English isn't as good as others. We are labeled as the disadvantaged. I hate that word. I'm a second language learner, and all of a sudden, the teacher thinks I'm a lost cause, blames me for this, and gives me low-level dumb work to do. You know, To'e, when I was young, I had this teacher. She'd always say in a slow voice, "Mannfred, here's your book, you're on pink." I was on the pink books for months, with only a couple of words, and the font almost the size of the page, while the other kids got the harder books, for more words.
Colon, semicolon, onomatopoeia. Apologies for being rude, but who gives a shit, you know? Now, I'm not trying to play down the importance of correct punctuation, but my people believe that literacy was more than just scribbles on a page. Important literacy education to me is my grandfather teaching his son, my father, how to read the clouds, the winds, the tides, in order to know when to go on the waka and in which direction to sail across the moana to gather food for our whānau and village. And don't forget, I didn't even talk about understanding the sun's path at different times of the year, or reading the changing positions of the stars in order to travel to various islands across the Pacific. The Pacific Ocean covers the biggest area of the globe. People from all over the Pacific have been navigating across the biggest area of the world and finding some of the smallest islands on Earth for centuries. Our ancestors were environmentalists before their time. And that knowledge that has been passed down for generations until our family saw a better life in Aotearoa. Now, in our new land, a land of milk and honey, no one values that literacy to read the environment. No one values the innate talents and abilities of our forefathers, but instead treats us as dumb because we don't understand the most convoluted and inconsistent language that's been put together from stolen parts of other languages. Mannfred, your teacher failed to see the strength that you brought of 2 languages. What a pity for that class. They could have learned so much from you. But don't worry, I got the pink books too. At least the teachers were consistent.
Okay, I get it. Point number one in the life lessons for Pacifica from our mate To'e. We all see things in our different value system. And now point number two, we have to look at the talents and legacy of our ancestors and see the amazing things that they achieved. We have to learn our own history. But let me say this. Whenever I see another brown person like me, I'm automatically drawn to them. We have a sort of connection. Us PIs, Islanders, Pacifica, Forbes.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean, Forbes? First of all, let's start off with the term that is most derogatory. Fob. Fresh off the boat. While this term is not as bad as other racial slurs around the world, I can't help but believe that this term has its origins in the tall poppy syndrome that is endemic to New Zealand. For the family living in the village of Si'ufanga in the island of Upolu, Samoa, they have saved up months and years of money to separate from their loved ones, often separating from their own sons or daughters in order to create a better life for the future of their family, for the betterment of future generations. I believe they should be applauded for their sacrifice, their courage, and their selflessness. But instead, what those courageous family members of mine were greeted with in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even today, when they arrived and spoke with a strong accent foreign to European New Zealanders, a simplistic, abusive phrase, fob. Did the person with the strong French accent get derided in the same way? And let's not stop there. Did you know that no one with heritages from nations within the Pacific ever wakes up and says in the morning, I am proud to be Pacifica? Pacifica is a term created by the bureaucrats and academics in an attempt to culturally be aware when they need a lazy common noun for the group of brown people in Aotearoa that are not tangata whenua Māori. When looking up our school statistics on the Education Review Office website, I don't see the statistics for Samoan, or Tongan, or Tokelauan, or Kiribati New Zealand students. I don't see me. I just see a school with a certain number of brown kids. If our own schools are measured by their ability to see the individual differences between their students, then those same schools aren't given any incentive to acknowledge uniqueness and cultural identity themselves. So when my brown brother over here says that he wants to go sit next to the other brown people in the room, Islanders, Pacifica, people with heritages from within the Pacific, it is much less because they are likely to have the similar upbringings and connections, and much more because he knows for certain that this other person has been treated the same way he has been treated. By YNZ, by the media, by the system as being the marginalized other, has not been the norm, has been the negative statistic in the room. That shared experience binds us closely together.
Okay. Let me get this straight. Going through the life lessons for Pacifica people, or actually, it's all minorities there. Anyways, point number one, we all have different values. Don't allow others to measure you against their value system, and definitely don't do it to yourself. Point number two, we have to learn about and be proud of our own history. And now point number three, the uniqueness of every country, island, village, across the biggest surface area of the world, the Pacific Ocean, is just whitewashed because people are too lazy to educate themselves. And you know, To'e, that whitewashing is often the most similar thing us Pacifica people have in common.
We live in the most supportive household. Overcrowded? Yes. With love. We carry with us the legacy of the finest navigators this world has ever seen. We carry the legacy of the most resourceful people, the most literate people this world has ever known. We are deeply aware of the sacrifices our family has made for us and keep making for us. This drives us forward. Look at me. Look at both of us. What do you see?
I don't know about you, but rugby player, good singer, musician, dancer, likelihood of ending up in a gang, high, likelihood of a university, obviously low.
What do you see? What do you really see? What is our lived reality?
Look, I get it, To'e. Media portrayal shouldn't measure our success with white values. People should be free to succeed in any way they want. But we need to celebrate all our cultures. You know, I see us both being brought up with strong Samoan values of love, family, and faith. It has always been the we, never the I. We are the kids that live in a household of 9 in each of our homes, and are damn proud of it. I have 5 sisters, 1 brother, my nan, and my mum. To'e has 4 brothers, his parents, his grandpa, and his cousin. We are the kids that have been brought up with discipline, which in turn has helped us have an excellent work ethic. We are the kids that work part-time jobs in order to contribute to our household, helping our families, our ainga. Daily chores are an expectation. We call them fe'aus. Looking after our grandparents is an honor. Just like last week, I missed TEDx dress rehearsal as I had to look after my nana. Nan would always come first. Our aingas, our families, would always come first. That's a non-negotiable thing in my world. Learning the importance of helping others first is a value that's been ingrained within us. We acknowledge the struggles that our parents have faced. This has motivated us to work harder. We are the kids that are proud to say we live in Candice Creek, Porirua, a community of love and care. We are the kids that will refuse to give in to low expectations of people around us. We are the kids that will stand up and respond to iniquity with mana and grace. We are the ESOL kids. We are the second language learners. We are the Pink Book crew, who are academically high achievers, nailing excellence and merit endorsements. Why? Because of the resilience our families, our parents, our loved ones have installed within us. We are the kids that have created a national award-winning business, Whaamalosi, say it right, producing a website to help normalize the pronunciation of Māori and Pasifika names. We are the kids that will encourage others to take action and simply not just talk about it. We are the kids that challenge O'Shea's shield and fought to speak in our mother tongue in the origin section. We are the movers. We are the shakers. We are the island changemakers. We are the kids that have advocated for our people on national TV, radio stations, to help change the incorrect perception of our people and hope they see the real us.
We have laid down our challenge to our Pasifika and minority brothers and sisters. See your value, earn your own values, and do not let others diminish you and the legacy you're trying to live out. So now, we turn to the dominant mainstream of Aotearoa. See the value in other people. Do not put your value over top of others. Do not diminish others. People shouldn't measure our success based on their values. People should be able to succeed through any cultural lens they choose. Look at the real us.
O lupe sa vao se ese, au fui fui whātas. We are from different parts of the forest, but connected in one cause. Ia manuia tele le vai aso le ngaran Samoa. Happy Samoan Language Week. Thank you very much.